Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Hopefully, you all had a lovely 3 day, or some of you had a 4 day weekend. Hopefully, you guys all had a wonderful time. Make sure, as per usual, fill out our beautiful Google form that Miss Carla dropped in, and I know some of the other staff are dropping in, as well as dropping in your name, site, and grade so that we can separate you into the appropriate breakout rooms.
So, if you weren't here last week, we want to make sure that you all are aware that after today, or as of last week, we have formally broken out into underclassmen workshops and senior workshops. And so it's going to be very important that the first couple minutes that you get into workshop, that you're dropping your name, your grade, so that we put you in the correct presentation. If at any point you're not in the correct presentation, please let us know through the chat. We have several of our staff that are working the chat. You have Ms. Ludi from the Women's Side, who can always transfer you out. You have Ms. Cap from Women's Side, who can transfer you out. Ms. Carla at San Pedro, Caesar at Port, Ms. Syra. All of us have access to switch you out. We want to just get in the habit of putting you in the correct presentation right away on Wednesdays so that we can end on time. Last week we were able to do it with less than 5 minutes, and so we hope we can keep our record under 5. And so just get in the habit of putting your name and your grade level so that we can do this. And Andres, if you can go ahead and give us okay.
I'm go ahead and open the room.
You can just give us a thumbs up and then let us know. You're going to be getting a pop-up on your screen. Everyone's going to be getting a pop-up, and we're going to go into breakout rooms every workshop. Just a brief announcements. Tomorrow is our February meeting, our parent meeting, so make sure to remind your parents. Seniors, your FAFSA is now down to 8 days. So if you haven't set up an appointment, make sure you do that after today's presentation. And with that, we're going to go ahead and go into our breakout rooms.
One other thing to remind you guys, seniors, just a friendly reminder, the National Charity League Scholarship is due literally in 2 weeks or less. It is a lot of work, but it's a huge payout. Great partnership and scholarship. They love Boys and Girls Club kids. They love helping you guys out. So please make sure you're working on it, starting the process, because I kid you not, it is a little bit of work, but it's very much worth it. 100%.
We're going to actually go into scholarship season if we haven't already. So we do have several scholarships that are out. Eddie has been running the scholarship hour on Thursdays. So the seniors, if you're already done with FAFSA and you wish to already do scholarships, Thursdays are the days that we meet for that. Okay, are we all good to go?
They're still logging in slowly.
Okay, yeah, we have a few that are still gonna be switched. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started so we can try to end in time. Is Syra in the room? And Janelli. Awesome. All right, everyone, welcome to today's presentation. Thank you again for being here on a Wednesday. We are going to go ahead and get started with talking to you about community college. We already had a presentation on this a couple weeks ago. on just intro to community college. Today is going to be on how to transfer and how to obtain that 4-year degree, how to get certified if you are just thinking of going the 2-year route. We do want to give you as much information about the 2-year like we do like the 4-year. If you, let's say, apply to a school and it maybe wasn't the school of your choice, we do aspire or hope that you consider transferring into your school of choice. You do have a better shot at any school from transferring to a 2-year. And so if you have a dream school and let's say you didn't get in right out of high school, you do have the opportunity to get in as a community college student. You do have priority. So that's a huge bonus for transfer students. You do have an admitted spot, or you are pretty much guaranteed admission at practically any university of your choice if you go to the community college option. So we wanted to just make sure you understood that. We're going to go ahead and get started with the video so that you know the different collaborations and different partnerships that the community colleges have with the universities. Audio
Right
good?
now, you may be at a community college. You don't, no one
Good.
sees. But once you go through these transfer programs and you're seen, then your invisibility becomes visible. Everyone knows who you are. You're right there with the top tier guys.
A lot of students don't feel that this is a place for them. And it's really breaching that distance that exists, not necessarily physically, but mentally.
The Center for Community College Partnerships, or as it's known, CCCP, is an academic development program focused on helping students prepare and become competitively eligible for the University of California system. Our goal is really to empower students to take ownership of their education and understand what they need to do to become a competitive applicant and to be successful.
We realize that there's a gap in the educational pipeline where first generation and students from underrepresented communities are really not transferring into the UC system, specifically to UCLA. So our program is actually based on a critical race theory framework where we recognize the institutional barriers that are placed on communities of color and for first generation students.
I'm a first generation student, high school graduate, first to graduate in my family from high school, first to go to college in my family. So I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have anyone to look up to. I didn't have anyone who could kind of show me how they did it. So being a scholar, I was provided with that. I was provided with mentors. I was provided with a community that essentially was there to guide me every step of the way, the application process, the transfer process, making sure that I was doing the best that I could academically back at community college. So the different programs provide the same resources and the same information for all students. They're just tailored a little differently to accommodate the student and provide them with a unique experience based on who they are, their identity.
First and foremost, it was free. So, I mean, if you apply, the worst they could say is no. But you're living on campus for free, you're eating for free, and you're getting to sit in front of these professors for free.
We've just gotten to learn a lot about, one, the transfer student process, the college life, how to be a good student, how to go about if you have some trouble in the areas, how to go about seeking help in those areas, and just in general, like as being a person of color in the United States and in the educational system, like what you have been through, what you will go through, what to anticipate, and how the things that you've been through, how they can help you move forward through the educational process and through life in general, which has been really enlightening and really helpful.
They gave us workshops on how to become not only a better person, but a better student. And so I was able to incorporate those tools and use them to propel me to transfer.
You're gonna meet people, you're gonna meet actual admissions directors, you're gonna be able to talk to them about the admissions process, like the people who actually read your essays and actually look at your transcripts. To me, that's more valuable. Counselors at school are great, and we absolutely need them, but to be able to also talk to the person that's going to read your application and possibly even build a relationship with them to maybe even read your personal statement in the future, that is extremely important. That's got to be the biggest reason why I think this program is important for the admissions process. There's a lot of questions that are always unanswered, and here, since they are the school, you can get all the answers anywhere.
It's amazing that this program follows you through the process of transferring and giving you the tools afterwards to help you develop into an amazing college student.
You're responsible to represent your community. Right here, you being here is your community being here as well. So going back and showing them that there's something more than just that bubble right there. And then coming here, coming to any institution and being educated is definitely gonna help. Being here as well. So going back and showing them that there's something more than just that bubble right there. And then coming here, coming to any institution and being educated is definitely gonna help our community strive.
When you're in CCCP, understand that it's a scholarship. Go back home and be proud. Like, wow, this is my first scholarship. So I don't know how many other students have already gotten scholarships before, but just, understand that it's a scholarship. This is real, and really know that your dreams are not out of reach. And this program right here is going to give you that.
As a first-generation student, as a low-income student, as a student who historically has not had access to a place like this, students feel intimidated. And it takes someone to say, come to the campus, experience the campus, feel what the campus is like. And it's really when they sit in a classroom that they start to feel like this fits me. This is a place that I can call home.
No one has a harder struggle than the next person. We just have our own struggle, but anything's possible. And this program helps make the impossible possible. It makes it tangible. It pulls everything within reach.
Let there be a willingness to learn.
Let there be empowerment.
Let there be transformation.
Let there be justice.
Let there be space for those our voices.
Let there be color.
Let there be optimism.
Let there be hope.
Let there be inspiring moments.
Let there be love. Let the invisible be visible.
Let there be power to the transfer student.
Alrighty. So we wanted to just kick off the presentation with the video to inspire you a little bit and show you the possibilities of transferring. As you can see, UCLA is a popular campus every year, and it's also one of the schools that gets applied to the most in every part of the world. And so community college have thrived at UCLA, at Berkeley, at Irvine, and a lot of other institutions that are highly competitive by transferring. So today's agenda is going to be on community college. We're going to talk to you about the transfer options, your supporting programs for first-generation college students, certification pathways if you are just trying to get certified, trade options. We're actually going to be bringing in some unions next week, March 3rd. So for any of our students that are looking to going into union or want to get certified, we do have that as an option. And then things to consider. I want to highlight my colleague, Syra, who's going to be co-hosting with me, as well as Ms. Janelli. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We're going to go ahead and start the presentation. Syra, did you have anything for here? Oh, disclaimer? Okay, we were going to quiz you on how many community colleges were there, if you knew. And if not, no biggie. We're going to maybe leave that for the end. how many community colleges in California do you know about? There is more than 100, and so if anyone can guess the amount of community college, we'll make sure to hook you up with a nice gift. Now, most of our jobs or the job industry is going to require some form of certification or some form of a degree other than a high school diploma. People who do not participate in more than just high school diploma or a trade or certification are more likely to be unemployed. So the more you know, the more your pockets will grow. We know now a high school diploma is great, and if you're part of our program, that should be a given. And so we do aspire or hope that our students continue their education. We have seen the unemployment rate at its highest, not only so much because of the pandemic, but because of students not continuing their education. So a certification, a vocational program is always going to open more doors for you. You're likely to have a job. You're likely to have more stability, more financial stability overall. So we do hope that if you are not considering the 4-year, that at the very least you're considering the 2-year. Now, here are all the counties in California, and there are roughly 100. I'm not going to give out the answers yet, but more than 100 community colleges just in California. As you can see, they're spread out. We have community colleges from the San Fernando Valley down the street from us. LA Harbor College is our local community college, as well as El Camino and Long Beach City College. However, we do have students at LA Trade Tech, Pierce College, and Pierce College is actually a popular community college in the San Fernando Valley. Students that go to school at CSUN end up taking classes at Pierce College at some point during their undergrad experience. LA Trade is very popular for trade. So if you are looking to getting certified welding, you know that's the route you want to take. LA Trade is your best option. We do tell students to stay away from the for-profit schools or the vocational schools that are trying to make money from our students, only because you're more than likely to end up in debt. So a lot of those for-profit schools or vocational schools that come out on the TV, be done in 6 months, you have to really look into them, because we want to find out that they're accredited and that you're not going to end up in a whole lot of debt. So community college are your best options. There's, like I said, one in every county of LA, and LA is expands into other counties. So you have the option to pretty much go to school anywhere you like. Now, there is an application process, just like the financial aid process and like the 4-year application process. Now, we're going to drop the link on the chat so you can bookmark this website. But the website you will go on is California Community Colleges, CCC Apply, or better known as CCC Apply, and it stands for California Community Colleges. Now, if you took a course with us or you're currently taking a course through Due Enrollment, I do want to remind you that the student ID number that you are assigned stays permanent with you. So it is, you do have an advantage for taking courses. You do get to start school before anyone else, and you get to keep that number for as long as you're in community college. So any of our students that are in Due Enrollment courses or taking a class with us at some point know that you are already part of the community college system. Now, you're probably wondering which community college is best for you. And that is going to be up to you to decide. Now, we do have different community colleges that do focus on different concentrations. Santa Barbara City College is the only community college that actually has dorms for their students. Students have been known to go to Santa Barbara City College and actually get the college experience because they have dorms for students. Long Beach City College is known for transportation. So if you're looking to go into transportation, Long Beach City would be a better fit in comparison to El Camino. El Camino is actually known for their certification. They're actually one of the few schools that have some certification in barber, or barbering. Cosmetology is very popular at El Camino, as well as a lot of hands-on job placement. El Camino does really well with job placement. We know Los Angeles Harbor College, which is here in Wilmington, is known for nursing and culinary. So if you know you want to go into culinary, you know you want to be a nurse, those would be a better fit for you in comparison to maybe Santa Monica City College. We want to ensure that you're also aware of the distance. It's easy to say like, oh, I'm going to go to Santa Monica College, and then you maybe don't calculate the commute Monday through Friday. So if you are taking 8 a.m. classes, you have to be mindful of how much or how far you're going to be traveling both ways. In most cases, our students do go or end up at El Camino, Long Beach City, or Los Angeles Harbor. But again, you have to be mindful of the commute. El Camino is a little furthest than it is in comparison to Harbor College. So students will underestimate the commute. And so very important that you consider transportation, that you consider the distance. Now, is there a better college than one over the other? Absolutely not. There is that misconception like, oh, El Camino is better than Harbor. It does have its focus, but it's not better in any way. You can totally go to either school and obtain your associate's degree. You can get a certification at both schools. You can transfer from both schools. You have the same admission rate from both schools. So there's no really one factor better than the other. They all both have their factors of their own, which makes them unique. Now, if you are considering, let's say, Long Beach City, you do have some leverage there because they do have a collaboration with Long Beach State, and that's because of Long Beach Unified and because of the city that it's in. So Long Beach City and Long Beach State do have a collaboration. Now, El Camino has been known to transfer, to have a higher transfer rate than maybe a lot of these other community colleges, because El Camino's actually heavily involved with the student body. They are on it. They make sure that students are meeting with their counselors. And so that is one thing I do want to highlight about El Camino, is that they're really on it about when it comes to community, the student services and just the support that students receive. It's just a very college going culture, where at Harbor College, maybe the population's older. So you are going to school with people that are older, maybe people that have been out of school for a while and have decided to go back. They do, some students think of it as high school again, but it's really what you make of it. You can be at the best school and still fall between the cracks if you're not in the correct support program. So I am going to highlight those support programs. It's very important and very crucial that you are part of these programs. Otherwise, you're going to fall between the cracks. Right now, the transfer rate is at 7%. And that's another misconception about the community college, is like, I'll just transfer, I'll go the community college route and save money that way. Yes, you're going to save money, hands down. It is more affordable, but you need to ensure to be part of that 7%, in which we're going to give you the tools to tell you on how to be part of that 7%. We have staff that have left us to go into their graduate programs that started at the community college that have been very successful. We had a young lady here in Wilmington, Maria Amador, who started at Harbor, was there for about 4 years, transferred to Dominguez, and is now a full-time social worker, and was also part of that 7%. And she can vouch and tell you that it was because of the support programs that she was part of. We had a young man named Sergio who went to LBCC, then went to Cal State Dominguez, and is now at Long Beach State getting his master's. So you are likely to go on to graduate school if you go to the community college route. You are likely to graduate from the 2-year and transfer to the 4-year and eventually get your master's. There is that possibility because of discipline that you receive at the community college. And so there is a lot of potential in community colleges, especially if you're part of that 7% that is transferring. UCLA's video couldn't have said it best. And so here are some things to consider when looking at community colleges. And this is something that you have to be realistic about when selecting the community colleges. The commute, you need to calculate what it's going to take you to get there and back. Do you drive? Do you take the bus? Are you going to be Ubering? Because that's going to add up at some point. You need to know what the agreements are between community colleges. Santa Monica will guarantee you admission to UCLA, but that's because of the collaboration. You need to be aware of the degrees and programs at these particular schools, as well as the courses being offered. Now, when I mentioned the 93% that it is not transferring, it's not because they're not capable, it's not because they're lazy, or it's because they're not maybe giving it their all, but in some cases, it's because their schools are impacted. They're really at capacity. All the classes that they need, the general eds that everybody has to take are at capacity. So that's a big deal when it comes to picking a school, is you want to ensure that the classes that you need aren't going to be taken, or that you don't have to wait a whole year and a half just to get into that one course that you need, a one of the prerequisites that you need for a course. And then you want to definitely do some research on student services. Who is going to be that backbone for you? Which school is going to have that home away from home, that support system that when you feel like giving up or you feel like checking out, is going to check you and say, no, you're actually going to finish within the 2-year, 3-year. Now, it used to take students 2 years to transfer. It's now taking 2.5 to 3. So that's another thing that you do have to keep in mind, that it's not 2 years anymore. The only ones that are transferring within the 2-year mark are the ones going to school year round. You're talking about fall, spring, and summer, and winter. And so you're literally in school all like the whole entire year. And those are the ones that are finishing within the 2-year. But again, remember, a lot of the classes are not always offered. So they end up taking classes somewhere else. And so they get really strategic as to how to transfer. And that's how you're able to finish within 2 years. But right now it's taking about 3 years on average. And then the faculty, you want to definitely know what the faculty ratio, the other resources available to you. If you're a dreamer, if you're undocumented, you need to ensure that they have a dream center that is going to be your support system. You want to ensure that you can go to someone if you have to renew your DACA, and you're not going to let that get in the way of your schooling. Someone that can better understand you, especially if you're first generation college student. And so those programs are a part of the presentation. And so we're going to highlight the 3 community colleges that are closest to us. Harbor College, which is literally down the street from us if you're in Wilmington. 3 miles if you're from San Pedro. El Camino, which is in the city of Torrance, also a really well-known community college. Long Beach City, that is just really well recognized. Now, Long Beach City does have its own way of doing things. They do use certain vocabulary specifically to Long Beach Unified, but you're going to go through the same process like you would at Harbor or El Camino. And then community college, El Cerritos Community College is one of our closest ones here. Now, I do want to highlight and mention that the community college applications have been open, and your deadline, really there isn't one, but if I had to give you one, I say April 30th. And that is usually because that is when the LA Promise is due. So in order for you to get your 2-year free, there is a promise that the Department of Education and the state of California made to students, which was to pay for their first 2 years free. But of course, nothing's free in this world unless you don't do the correct protocol. Now, the correct protocol would be to fill out the FAFSA or the DREAM Act before March 2nd, and then fill out the LA Promise paperwork. So the paperwork isn't effective or won't go into effect without a financial aid application and file. So don't underestimate the LA Promise. Don't think just because it's free, you're automatically going to get it, because the only thing you're going to get is a bill if you do not fill out the financial aid application or the DREAM Act application if you are a dreamer. So very important that you don't underestimate those 2 applications. There is money that is left over at the community college that you can use for your books if you have a contribution of $0. So in some cases, our students are going to have that money made out to them. It is going to come in 2 parts because you're in a semester system. So if you haven't filled out your financial aid, make sure to schedule an appointment. Now, here are some majors and programs that are pretty popular at Harbor College. which are accounting, culinary arts. The music department's actually pretty well known, and as well as their nursing program is pretty much up there. Now, if you just want to get through your general ed education, you can do that at any community college. Now, one of the things you need to know about LA Harvard is that they are actually one of our partners. We do collaborate with them. We have been collaborating with them for a while now through our dual enrollment courses. And so you do have an advantage. You can start one semester early. We just want to ensure that you take advantage of the Harvard Advantage program, which is again is going to give you an advantage to signing up. The 2-year program, the LA California Promise, and as well as the first year experience, EOPS, who's going to help pay for your books. So great for nursing, great for culinary arts, great for child development. If you're thinking of teaching, this community college will be ideal for you because they will connect you with schools that offer child development majors. So very, very great institution. You can take classes at your own pace as well. So you don't have to necessarily sit through the whole semester. You can actually take classes in sequence and can even just go to school for 8 weeks. So there is, again, a lot to do when it comes to the community college. Like I mentioned, they did have their application open. So the first step is going to be for you to apply. You have to apply to any community college you're considering. Applications are now open. We even have the Harvard College rep at some of our campuses. I know at my school, which is Batting, they're on Tuesdays, so you can always come to talk to a rep, and they can better assist you. They can walk you every step of the way. So the first step is that you apply to the college. The second step is that you do the FAFSA. But because you're part of College Bound, you should have done the FAFSA by now, so that the only thing you're having to do is your application process. Now, if you have your smartphone, I'm going to advise you to take it out now if you already applied to Harvard College and even got to assign a student ID number, because if you scan this QR code here, it will redirect you to the LA Promise Early Decision form, which will allow you to sign up for school before anyone else. You get to sign up for school before anyone else. You get priority enrollment. You get your 2 years free by scanning this QR code. Now, we did make this available through your email. So make sure that you're checking your email. Make sure that you're signing up for early decision. You want to already let them know you're coming. That way they can already sign you up for the summer bridge program. We want to ensure that you start school this summer if you can. Even if it's 2 classes, that's still 2 classes that you're going to have under your belt before anyone else. So how amazing is that? El Camino, like I said, does have their certifications as well. One of the actual certifications or associate's degree that is very unique to El Camino is a fire tech education program. So if you're trying to go into a fireman, this is the only other school other than Cal State LA that has it. So if you know you want to go into a fireman, you know you want to go into the fire academy, this is the best program for you. Again, one of a kind in the world, and very unique. Also, police training if you're trying to go into law enforcement, very strong in the arts and film as well. So this is where you get to hand select or pick which school, again, is best for you. They don't call it the LA Promise, they call it the South Bay Promise because of the location. But similar to LA Harbor, you do have to fill out the promise and as well as the financial aid to have your 2 years paid for. Syra or Janelle, anything that you may want to add?
Just for the students that are thinking of doing either of these schools, there is like extra steps, so make sure that you stay on top of your deadlines. Not because don't underestimate a community college. They do have requirements, and they also have deadlines just like a CSU or UC. So if you are thinking of it, just keep in mind the deadlines and meet up with us so that we can help you set up everything and make sure that you get those 2 years free.
Yes, very important that you keep up with deadlines, especially that LA Promise deadline. Don't underestimate it. Don't think just because it's free and you'll eventually get to it. some of the students that we sometimes work with are just very freelance, like, we're eventually gonna get to it, and because they don't have the pressure of the deadlines, or maybe aren't getting friendly reminders like maybe the four-year institutions are, it totally goes unoverseen. And so if you are considering the community college, come talk to us. We definitely want to be with you every step of the way. We want to make sure you have every support necessary. Long Beach State, a great, great, great community college, 3 campuses, so you can alternate between campuses. You can take classes, or might end up taking classes at more than one campus. And they're actually pretty well known for their CTE programs, their certification programs in welding, to become an electrician, a mechanic, architecture. If you wanted to always be an architecture, or architect, and maybe it's a BA might be too big, or you maybe want to polish up your math skills. Community college is a great option. Cal Poly Pomona, #1 for architects, so you can always transfer out and again go into a 4-year and get that bachelor's degree. So lots of great programs there. They also have their promise as well, and it's Long Beach 2.0 promise. So the name changes a little bit, but they all serve the same purpose. And there's actually a partnership, like I said, from LBCC and Long Beach State, the university in Cal State Long Beach. El Cerrito is not that far from us. Very well known for if you want to go into becoming a dentist assistant or a dentist hygienist. If you maybe want to go into pharmacist, if you want to become a pharmacist, have not athletic training, they actually do work around people that draw blood. So they do have a concentration there as well. If you want to just make easy money, and if you're not scared of drawing blood, you can definitely go into. And then they do have a very unique associate's degree program, which is zoology. So if you want to study animals, that is a great place to go. Now, these aren't the only specialty programs, but we are just highlighting a few. And they're actually also follow the promise, but they just call it the College Promise Pathway. So every one of these will have its own concentration. The Golden West College is in Huntington Beach. So if you want to be by the water, they do have a study abroad program. So I think that's pretty awesome, because you typically don't hear about study abroad until you're in college or at a 4-year institution. So I think the fact that you can study abroad there, and I think El Camino also does study abroad, it's pretty amazing to just be able to go abroad as a community college student and not have to wait till the 4 years. So big bonus. Facilities not upgraded, but easy to find parking. So small college, which is good. I do know LA Harbor College did get renovated and is actually looking very nice right now. So if you haven't been there in a while, make sure to pay them a visit. Play them a visit regardless. You want to ensure that these colleges are going to be a fit for you. So if there's ever a chance to visit the campus, definitely take advantage of that. I know LA Harbor College is having a field trip later in the spring semester, and El Camino is having an open house night, and so we'll definitely get those dates out to you. Santa Monica College, like I said, collaboration with UCLA, sounds really fun, but you are commuting on the opposite end of this direction, which is on the 405, and it's brutal. I actually did the commute to UCLA 2 years, and it's not a very nice one. Both directions, it's passing LAX, and so again, you have to be mindful of the commute. But it does guarantee admission to UCLA because of its location. Renovated, brand new facilities, really nice, fountains and coffee shops. Just be considerate of the commute. Very well known for the arts. So if you are thinking of going into the artsy side, you can most definitely consider Santa Monica. Fullerton College. It does have a collaboration with Cal State Fullerton in the city of Fullerton. 1 hour commute in each direction. So you have to, again, consider those routes both back and forth. And it's just in a really nice area. I think Fullerton in itself is really nice. You get the best of both worlds. You got Disneyland, you got Knott's, and then you got Cal State Fullerton. So really, really nice place to go to school. A lot of our students that go to Fullerton end up taking classes at Fullerton College to be able to fulfill some of their general eds. And they have a collaboration with a lot of the Cal States as well as USC. So if you're considering USC as your school choice, then Fullerton College might be the one. Santa Barbara City, like we mentioned, didn't have the dorms, so that's nice. If you plan on living away from home and really want to get the college experience, excellent transfer rate to UCSB, I'm sure, or any of the nearby schools, which I'm only thinking Channel Islands. So more than I'd say 33% of the students end up transferring to UCSB, their sister school or their school nearby, or out-of-state schools. So right by the ocean, again, you get the best of both worlds, and you get to actually live on campus. Now, our program was designed for you, and we do hope that after today, everyone has a plan to continue their education, whether it's a 2-year or 4-year. I have Eddie Garcetti, who came out a couple years ago and just made it very vocal of supporting community college students, California students. And so when he first came out with the LA Promise, he was very vocal about paying for everything the first year. And because that went so well, he did extend it to 2 years. So he said, you know what, if we're going to pay for anything, we're going to make sure to pay for 2 years and not just one, because after the first year, it's like, okay, so what happens after? So they did make a commitment, and I say they, the state of California, they went ahead and wanted to ensure student success among students in the community college. And so the universities have to reserve spots for these students. They have to. And so this is part of the collaboration. This is the benefits that came out. The incentive, students did spend less money. So that was also a big highlight after the first year of the LA Promise. And we did see more students transferring because they were holding community colleges accountable. So that, and I say they, the Department of Education was saying, community college, you guys need to do better at helping these students transferred. And so that resulted in more students getting admitted into their dream school. More community colleges started offering classes that were between 30 to 40 students. And so there was a lot of great things that came from LA Promise, other than just the 2 year free, 2 years that were free, but more accountability, more institutions having to do more for their students. And I think that actually ended up benefiting both the institution and the community college students. So they have came a long way when it comes to community college students. What are the eligibilities to have a 2.0 or higher, which I know hopefully all of you do, and to complete 50% of your coursework, which means you have to pass with the C or better. Now, the LA Promise, if you look here at the timeline, has been around since 2017, and it was just a promise to pay for your school, but then eventually ended up growing over the years. Is now 2022, and you're looking at your classes being waived, money left over for books, more engagement, more participation from counselors, more students transferring. And so here is just what it's converted over the last couple years. It used to be called BOG, Board of Governor Fee Waivers, back in the day. We're talking about more than 5 years ago. Not anymore. Everybody just knows it as the LA Promise, which ends up paying for school. Then you have your South Bay Promise, very similar, just that the name changes. Some schools got very creative and just wanted to change the name. And so El Camino in Long Beach City, like I said, do call it something a little different, but means completely the same. They do ensure that you take classes that even introduce you to college, such as University One, that is going to really give you an overview of what to expect when going to college. So it's definitely help our students really just understand the idea of higher education, especially when you're a first-year student. Now, the requirements are that you fill out the FAFSA, that you go to school full-time, that you're passing your classes with the C or better, because, again, they want you to transfer. C's get degrees, which means that even if you get a C, you're still able to matriculate onto the next grade level or next semester for you. The first year experience is actually one that most of our students have definitely taken advantage of. The first year has by far grabbed our students by their hand and helped them every step of the way with matriculating, with assessing, assessment, with just transitioning from high school to college. The coursework does change. You are writing more, you're reading more at the college level. What you used to get as a letter A in high school might be equivalent to a B in college. And so you do have to manage your time better. For every unit you take, you have to study 3 hours. So if you're taking a 3 unit class times three, you're probably going to spend about 5 to 6 hours on average studying for one class alone. And so it is very important that you're managing your time, that you administer your money well, because students do get in the habit of working. They want to work and then end up becoming more of a worker than the student, and then grades start to drop, and now their financial aid's in jeopardy. So there's a lot of things, new habits that you're going to develop now that you're going to go to college. Then there's Harvard College that has just done an amazing job with EOPS, which is the Education Opportunity Program. This program specifically will help you pay for books. We have this at the community college, at the CSU, and at the UC. They just call it different. So at the community college, it would be called EOPS in comparison to EOP at the Cal State. We have a young man on the screen that you maybe had met or not, depending on your time with Boys and Girls Club, who not only transferred from LA Harvard College, but worked with us for a little bit. He was actually our former tutor. So shout out to Isaac, who is now at Berkeley, if I'm not mistaken, getting his bachelor's degree, if not his master's. He's been in school for so long that I lose track of where he's at, but I know he started at the community college from San Pedro, went to the Pedro Club, and is now at Berkeley. Right, Carla? Is Carla in here? Or any of the Pedro staff? All right. Isaac he's at Berkeley?
Yeah, he's at Berkeley.
So a great example, someone who just wanted to go into engineering, his love for math was really, really just there. Did the 2-year route, took advantage of EOPS, the promise, worked with the case manager, and is now at his dream school studying engineering to become an engineer. So these are, again, all the possibilities of going to the community college options. I just shared with you 3 testimonies today, and that's not including the UCLA one. And then you have a lot of other resources. Now that you're going to go on to college, you are entitled to food stamps, which is known as CalWORDS or CalFresh. There is a food deficiency in the college environment where students go hungry. So that shouldn't be any of you, because you have or entitled to almost $195 a month in food stamps. Do not think that food stamps are bad or it's for someone that has kids only. Food stamps are actually for college students so that you don't go hungry. And so another great resources, some schools even have pantries for you to just grab a little snack if you're on campus. Most, if not all, schools have some form of career center where you can look into internships, you can look into job placement. Childcare is available at every college practically. EOPS is at every college. Mental health awareness, you actually pay a fee into mental health awareness, which ends up being like your health fee. So you do have advantage, access, housing, books, services. I do know that at some schools you can even get not only just tutoring, but even someone to help you take notes, a note taker. Yes, there's such thing as that. And there's just, again, so many great resources. Tutoring is available for all subjects, every subject. Puente is another program that you need to be aware about. Puente is a program designated and really created for our first generation Latinx students. That is every single one of you. When you're homesick, when you feel like someone just doesn't get it at home, or maybe your mom and dad don't really understand the idea of higher education, Puente is going to be that support system. El Camino does really good at having multicultural events to incorporate just not only are the students' culture, but to expose them to cultural awareness. They're really down to earth. They're all for, keeping it 100, and they're really good with incorporating just the different identities that a lot of students may deal with, whether you're undocumented, whether you're Mexican American, or however else you identify as. Puente is a great program for our students of color. More than anything, you have counselors that look like you, that speak like you, that went through the same process as you, that went off and transferred and got their masters. And so a lot of mentors of color, most if not all of their mentors are of color, are bilingual. And so definitely a great program that you can relate to when it comes to just your race and ethnicity. So keep an eye out for Puente. They do require an applications. All of these programs require a separate application. But Puente is by far one of my favorite, just because they incorporate just cultural events, and cultural events are just great at any school. The honor transfer program, which was one of the programs Isaac was part of, also does helps you really with transferring, and makes you stand out. It actually adds a bonus point to your application process. So if you're part of the honor society, you're practically guaranteed admission to any school. Like hands down, honor program with Puente, or honor program with EOPS, honor program with first year experience is enough to get you admitted, because of the curriculum and the rigor that you're gonna have within your courses. And so that's definitely gonna make you a very competitive candidate for any school that you choose to transfer right after. Like I said, our goal is to get you all to transfer, or to continue your education. If you're not going to consider transfer, at the very least, obtain an associate's degree. Remember, an associate's degree is still better than a certification. Now, you can get an AST, which is an associate's degree in science with the transfer, T for transfer, or associate's degree in arts, which is an AA degree. The T is for transfer, so that's how you have those abbreviation. Now, if you decide on an AST or an AAT, you are guaranteed admission to the CSU system, which we know there's 23 of them. No guarantee specific campus, but there is 23 of them. You are guaranteed grant opportunity when applying to impacted majors or schools. So which means that they're going to give you a priority for having an associate's degree when you decide to transfer. So associates will not only open doors for you, but it will guarantee you admission. And you do need 60 units to obtain an associate's degree. So 60 units is what you will accumulate in a matter of 2 or 3 years for you to transfer and obtain an associate's degree. And those are actually the units you need to graduate from a community college. Now, here are the CSUs that our students are actually some of our nearby CSUs, and some of the CSUs that our students transfer to because of that collaboration that there is between community college. I can already tell you Harbor College and Dominguez have a collaboration. Pierce College and CSUN have a collaboration. ELAC in East LA and Cal State LA have a collaboration. Fullerton definitely has a collaboration with Cal State Fullerton. LBCC has a collaboration with Long Beach City, so forth. Channel Islands, I'm assuming, is going to be Santa Barbara City College, since it is its closest community college. Anything particular about this slide, Miss Syra? Now, I did get a question. Are we going to be visiting colleges anytime soon? Maybe in the summer. There is a potential possibility that we visit colleges this summer for our underclassmen that are now going to be our rising seniors. However, the honor program or the transfer center does offer college field trips or campus field trips to multiple colleges year-round when you're a college student. So you definitely want to get involved with your transfer center, and you want to get involved with the honor program center. Puente does really good at taking their kids or students to visit schools. And they actually connect their students with more students of color. So if they were to end up hypothetically at a bigger school, we want to ensure that they matriculate and transfer and feel comfort at any of these big schools that they're going to transfer to. So they work very closely with MECHA, which is pretty big at the college system or the UC system at least. Now, if you know you want to go to the CSU route, you know CSU has always been in your mind. There is an agreement, which is the California State University General Education Agreement. Now, this agreement will allow you to be admitted to practically any CSU as long as you meet the GPA requirement and the unit requirement, which in this case is 60 units. Now, you do need a lower GPA than you used to when you were in high school. So again, another advantage for transferring. And then you have other general agreements like the LA City College Agreement, AA or AS with general eds. That is also an option for most of our students to just get your general eds out of the way, and then you obtain your associates, and then you transfer. So general eds is actually one of the most popular common method that students take. But because you are part of our program, we are going to introduce you to the TAG agreement, which is the Transfer Admission Guarantee Agreement. So there's 6 colleges that participate in the TAG agreement, which means you can you're guaranteed admission to these particular schools. They are UC specifically, so this only applies to the UC, and that is UC Davis, UC Irvine, UC Merced, UC Riverside, UC Santa Barbara, and UC Santa Cruz. If you notice, UC Berkeley and UCLA don't participate in the TAG because there's a separate program that they participate in. So 6 colleges that participate in the TAG program and 1 college that participates in the TAP program, which is UCLA. In this case, UC Berkeley occasionally will participate in TAP, but most of the UCs participate in TAG. So if you want to go to any of these schools, you do have to tag them after your first year. You do have to start the application process once you get your 60 units under your belt, and then you tag one of these schools if you know you want to go the UC route. If you know UCLA is the school of your dreams, or Berkeley, they do have TAP, Transfer Alliance Program, which is very similar but different than TAG. El Camino actually does an amazing job getting students into UCLA because of that Puente program and EOPS and honor program. So if you're part of those 3 programs, you can also participate in these agreements that they have. Here is the other TAG. Oh, here are all the TAG schools. So we have Davis, Irvine, Merced, Riverside, Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz that are participating in the TAG collaboration. And then you have TAP, which is just UCLA, and in some cases Berkeley, depending. Now there is news on Berkeley admitting less students this year as freshmen at a high school. So Berkeley is your school choice and you don't get in, know that you do have this as an option. Now, if you fell asleep through my whole presentation and you forgot about anything, TAP, TAG, ADS, or AST, or ADT, I Get C will save you. If you do follow I Get C and you follow this layout at any school that you decide to attend, you're not only guaranteed admission, but you are also obtaining your associate's degree, and you are going to be pretty much admitted to any school. There's no restrictions as to UCs, Cal States, privates, or any of that. This is a one shoe fits all. You are required a 2.4 to transfer, but do know that at some schools will require a 3.2 GPA. So the higher the GPA, the higher the possibilities of transferring. Now, don't think you're going to get admitted with 2.0. I mean, depends on the school, but a lot of schools are going to want like at least a 3.2, which is much less than right out of high school. We know right out of high school, you need like a 3.8 just to get into Berkeley. Well, if you transfer, you need a 3.2 because of the collaboration that they have, and 60 units only. Important steps to remember: complete your 60 units and maintain a 2.0 or higher. Follow the IGETC. If you forgot the acronyms for the whole presentation, IGETC is what's going to save your life no matter college or plan after high school. And make sure to pass your courses with the C or better, otherwise you jeopardize your financial aid, or you jeopardize not getting financial aid. Make sure that you are also meeting with your counselors twice a semester and not once, because once is not enough. So twice a semester, but if you're part of Puente, you're part of EOPS, that's an automatic. And so you're not going to have to worry about scheduling those appointments. And then consider taking a career planning course, which is that University 101, or even an intro course to like a class that you normally wouldn't take in your caseload, just to see what it's about. Maybe you end up liking it and end up getting an associate's degree. And visit your professor. I can't stress that enough, whether you go to 2-year or 4-year, get to know who your professors are. Really spend some time going to office hours. That can make a difference between an A or a B if you're at that 89.9. And so office hours is when you meet with your professor on a one-on-one basis that you normally traditionally wouldn't, but office hours are big. Passing your courses is going to be important, and making sure you're taking the correct courses is going to be important. And then visiting your transfer center. Transfer center is designed to help you transfer. And so they're going to tell you about the honor program, EOPS, about the field trips, about the college exposures. And so the transfer center is going to be almost your second home. And stay on top of your transfer path. You need to vocalize to your counselor or your mentor that you want to transfer at every meeting, because again, students go with taking the wrong classes. They're 2 years in, and then they go find out that their classes aren't transferable, and that is a very frustrating. Now, if you're ever wondering whether your courses are transferable or where they transfer to, I will share this example with you. So let's say Music 101 at Harvard College is transferable to one of these other universities like UCLA. It wouldn't be Music 101. It would probably be an equivalent to a University 1 or a University 10. So if you ever want to find the equivalency, or you just want to know whether your courses are transferable, assist.org will be the website that you can check their transfer, whether they transfer or not. So if you're ever at doubt, assist.org will be the way you can check whether they transfer. And then you definitely want to get involved in your community college, whether with student body or whether it's just being a student worker or EOPS, again, because that's what's going to help you really stand out. Now, here is the support services roadmap. So you're going to apply to college, you're going to get your student ID, you're going to sign up for orientation, and then you're going to get involved with the transfer center, EOPS, Puentes, tag first year experience. You're going to see if there's any student services that you haven't tapped into because you want to transfer. Now, the certification training, there's so many, but at every school, and most of them go for 6 months to a year. So if there's any of you that just wants to be done with school, there is the certification option where you can be done with school within 6 to 9 months and be certified and already going to your prospective career. So here's some of the certifications at El Camino. We do highlight and honor El Camino for their certifications because of how many options they have. You're seeing them on the screen. So if you just want to get certified, get that something under your belt, El Camino will be your to go. Here are some of the ones that are very popular: pharmacy, dental assistant, auto bodies, usually very popular, welding, barber. If you just want to do something small. LA Trade, like I mentioned, is our to go for certification. They actually have an advanced transportation for coalition. So if you're wanting to work with cars, they have a certification there. They actually do construction on site on campus. So if you want to go even into construction and get certified, they build their own homes. They're little homes. Obviously, you're not going to build a big home on campus, but they build mini homes on campus for any that want to go into construction. Culinary, cosmetology is actually a popular one at LA Trade and El Camino. They actually do all hands-on, and not only can you get your certification for cosmetology, but even start your own business. So that's something that you're looking to going into. LA Trade or El Camino are both. And of course, if plan A didn't work, don't worry. The Alphabet has 25 more options, which goes to tell you that there's a lot of possibilities. I didn't mention Job Corps, and that is one of our partners. You can also get certified, and they actually help with job placement. So that's only for students that are between ages 16 to 24, and they do help with job placement. I think they even provide a stipend, and they have 2 locations. There's one in Long Beach, in the city of Long Beach, and there's another one in downtown LA. And so I just wanted to leave you with that. That concludes our presentation. We did go over, and my apologies for that, but just wanted to make sure to cover every slide. And so we're going to stick behind for questions. This is it. Lots of information on community colleges. So if you do have questions now, this is your chance to answer. Or to ask, we'll answer.
And then just to finish off as well, do remember that there are scholarships for students that are going to community college or even vocational trade schools. So apply to scholarships. You know, you can also get that extra money. Even though you're getting the 2 years free, you can use that money to save it up for your 4th year, or once you transfer to a 4-year institution. So yeah, or maybe if you need a car for transportation, you know, like that scholarship money can come in handy. So make sure that you're also applying for scholarships and not just thinking like, oh, it's community college, it's fine, like I won't need money. Like, no, you know, as a senior, you have more possibilities, more scholarships open to you. So apply as many as you can and save up the money.
Also, just to add, make sure you do the CSAC as well, and then hopefully down the road you can ask the case managers about putting it on hold. That way, when you do decide to transfer out, you can have that money and not actually have to pay out of pocket. So, yeah, just let them know. They can talk to you more information regarding that.
Yes, put that Cal Grant on hold if you are eligible for it and you're planning to go to for 2 years.
So pretty much what that means is that you're gonna get more money than what you actually need, because we know it's affordable. Put it on hold if you can. Ask us how to do it, because you're gonna need it at some point in the long run when you're at Berkeley, at UCLA, trying to get a dorm. You're gonna need that money, so put it on hold. Don't go spending it all just because you have it. And I didn't mention books and transportation, but again, books add up. And so if you can get $500 before the start of your school year, which is going to be in the fall, that's $500 that goes a long way first day of school. And so if you're not trying to, you know, struggle with books, transportation, scholarships are the best way. Our scholarship's going to be out next month, so make sure to look out for it, because we're going to make sure that if you are going to a community college, we're going to make sure that we give you the money and you decide how to use that money. So keep an eye out. We will keep talking about the scholarship opportunities. We will include them in the emails. We do have a scholarship bin. We do have a scholarship hour allocated on Thursdays that I don't see a lot of students are taking advantage of. And so after today, Thursdays at 4 p.m., you need to go on me or just try to go to scholarship hour. I just we do have a birthday in the audience. So if you can all help me sing a happy birthday to our lovely Isabel, who is one of our staff at the San Pedro Boys and Girls Club. She's the one that gets us the nice college bound gears, the nice UCLA gear. So if you want to thank her, and this is your way of saying thank you, the gift cards, the goodie bags, all those nice things we do for college bound are because of this young lady, Isabel, at the San Pedro Club. So we can show her some love. And on 3, turn on your cameras. I'm going to actually wait because we're going to do a screenshot and wait for everyone to turn on their cameras. Show her some love, man. She's in the audience. All right, so 1,
You're
2,
funny, thank
3.
you.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday Here is the bell. Happy birthday to you.
This is my birthday.
It was her birthday this week, so everybody go show her some love. All those nice
Thank
college
you.
bound gear, all those certificates, all those goodie bags. If you ever got hooked up from College Bound, you better go say happy birthday to her on the chat. And we wanted to conclude College Bound workshop this way.